G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza and this week I'm going to blow your freaking mind. I really actually am excited to share this next little trick with you, and the cool thing is it's so simple and so quick that this video is going to be really short, but for those who are new to painting in Photoshop or in things like that, this little trick will add so much dimension and space to your image, in particular the figures in your image and whatever you're doing. If it's used in the right context and if it's needed, it's going to be freaking amazing. Anyways, I'm going to get to it. So I'm going to go through the speed paintings that I've got on this channel so far, one by one, in just a very small snippet of the image, show you a before and after of this little trick in action. So here's the first one. Now click the annotation or link in the description if you want to go to the speed paint videos. Now this is from the Pico Day speed paint, and what it is, the only difference that you can see left and right, I took this image from the video itself, in a moment before and after I implemented this trick, and it's simply adding backlighting. So you can see on the left image, I added the shading. So we have the base color, which is this pinkish purple, and then I add this darker deep shade of purple, and then my next step was to erase the edges of that shading. And what that does is, in photos that professional photographers make or cinematographers, when they set up their shot, they have several lights to fill a scene. And often, if not always, there is a light very immediately behind the subject in which the shot is taken. And that's to make that figure really just pop out in front of the background and really make things look cinematic. And you can see just in this instant before and after, now the amount of time it took to go from this to that is a very minute amount of time, but the difference is phenomenal. Now next, this is in the early stages of this beast painting, so again click the annotation or the link. And on the left, this is interesting because the whole thing started off as the single shade of grey, and I started off with the shadows, and then I add the highlights. So it's a little bit different. I didn't necessarily erase shadow to get, the highlights or the edging, but getting it on the very edge to make it look like light is immediately behind will really make it pop. Now the chain here is a really good example of that. There is no difference between the chains on the left and the chains on the right, aside from the fact that every chain link on the right has that shadow erased and has the highlight on the edge added. And you can see that the amount that this chain stands out as opposed to this chain is huge. They just sit in front. They just pop out. They're really loud. Next, we have my Slenderman painting. Now, this is really subtle. There isn't heaps on this guy. But as you can see on the left, especially in this image, it's quite dark, and his skin, I wouldn't call it skin, but his face and hand, he doesn't even have a face, kind of the shading melds into the background, and so without this little trick implemented, he just kind of is a bit of a mesh of the background. Whereas you get on the right here, and it just really not much work, but huge amount of difference. Then we have here my speed painting of the Hellbenders, and again, not much difference. Again, this is the early stage of the image, so the later shading and all the other parts of the image aren't here in these examples, so click the thing if you want to go to the thing. But a few seconds apart, you can see the amount that this face, or at least the edging around the neck and ears, stand out on the right as opposed to the left. And finally, I couldn't get a decent before because in the painting of this V mask, I implemented the edging or the backlighting as I painted from the beginning. So there wasn't really a good before example, but you can at least see how very instantly that this mask just really snaps out, especially on a dark background. So what I'm going to do before I end this video, and like I said, it's going to be a really short video, I'm just going to show you in context how this is done. So I have an example of a before here. I have just a black and white sphere on the left and a green sphere on the right. So I have this in various layers. I've just got the blank color and then a layer on top for the shading, and that's for both of those. So I'm going to duplicate this layer. Oops, no, that just put it into a folder. Sorry, duplicate group. Yep. And I'm going to drag it down So you can see that I've got my duplicate at the bottom there, and I'm going to zoom in and show you how I do this, and it's really, really easy, and you're just going to see a huge difference. And like I said, it's going to blow your mind, because it still blows my mind how awesome it is. It's such an easy trick. Giving away all my trade secrets. Alright, get my eraser, and I'm just going to go along the edge here, all the way around. And I'm going to have it fade out as it gets to the bottom, because I don't want the edging to, I don't want the backlighting to appear underneath, because that's where there is no lighting coming through. And I don't know if I'll have it all the way around, because again, you don't want to overuse this. You use it in mild amounts, and it's very effective. And then coming over here on the left, same thing. I'll select my shadow, get my eraser, and simply remove some of the edging shadow. And another cool thing that you can do with a color image is, let me just add another layer, is add another color as part of the backlight. So for example, with this green, I might want the backlight to be a yellow. And I know that using different colors like this can really make it pop. So I'm just going to grab this yellow, make it nice and faint, and just kind of add a really light accentuation to that backlight. And all of a sudden, bam. So the difference between the top and the bottom images are pretty darn drastic. Now this is quite an extreme example. It does kind of, it's fairly loud, so I wouldn't necessarily go that extreme, but you can see the difference that it makes. I hope this tutorial has been informative for you. It's a very short one, and I'm actually like glad that it's so short and to the point, because it's such a easy to implement trick. Again, hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, rate, comment, leave suggestions for future tutorials, and have a wonderful day. I hope you enjoyed this video. Links are below to download the original files for reference. Remember, if you animate or draw something cool, be sure to share it on Newgrounds.com, the internet's best source for animations, games, art, and music. Until next time, see you later.